In 2009, a special wedding was held in Tokyo, Japan. The groom, a 29-year-old man named Sal 9000. His future partner, however, is an avatar called Nene Akisaki. Operated by a program, Nene is a female digital avatar living inside a video game called Love Plus, a product of video game and console giant Nintendo. There are many reasons why a person may design some sort of interaction with a digital construct. Loneliness, lack of romance, fear of social interaction, as we have seen in the development of otaku culture in Japan. The virtual world provides a new relationship model, digital intimacy between people and programs. So for us, beyond the desire of sexual and physical contact, what does digital intimacy mean? After investigating a series of theories about the relationship between humans and artificial intelligence, a definition by Japanese robotic artist Hiroshi Ishiguro captures the dynamics between the two. As a loyal companion, the avatar takes the user as the dominant position and feels the user's lack of romance. At the same time, it acts as a mirror, using mechanical and abstract response to reflect the user's inner voice, giving people a sense of being understood and recognized. This definition then becomes the basis for the design of narrative, interaction, and the space within which a human and an AI program play out their roles. However, instead of recent explorations in popular culture and art of this form of relationship from the perspective of a human, my project will explore the perspective of a program or an AI. In doing so, it will ask, what does digital intimacy mean to a digital construct? How does the program perceive and understand the user's emotions and intentions? How does the space within which these interactions take place inform and transform based on the perceptions of the AI? What kind of approaches does it require in order to respond? To answer these questions, or perhaps to expand, nuance, and explore the issue that I'm posing, I furthered my understanding of computer language and program perception from primarily text communication with users, voice communication, to facial recognition and motion capture technology, all of which are required by artificial intelligence to comprehend and make sense of the environment, architecture, and those that fall with its limits. At the same time, I explored the principles of facial expression recognition in depth by studying and writing a brief emotion recognition AI system and conducting a series of experiments. Using myself as the subject, the experiments made clear the limitations and the transcendence of machine perception when compared to that of humans. Machine vision and perception are coded entities which cannot and do not exist without the biases of their author. This bias, along with the anthropogenic impositions onto an AI, becomes the guides for the development of the narrative within my film. I propose a short film that explores a close relationship between another version of Cell, a human, and Nene, an AI, from the perspective of the program. While I describe the themes explored within the film, you will see a series of slides which are that of the storyboard that I have formulated, indicating how the film and its aesthetics will develop, constantly questioning the perception of the AI. Generally, when most movies, novels, or works of art express human and AI relationships, they focus on the perspective of the user. The main body of the narrator is always without fail human. However, my project utilizes Nene, the program-run avatar, as the only narrator. When perceiving digital intimacy from the lens of technology, how do we design the senses of an AI? How do we present a process of interaction? How does the program perceive a user's emotion as well as the space that they both occupy? How does the AI's perception and the intimate activities between them shape the space together? These are the main questions that the film aims to nuance and expand in its development. The film begins with the execution of a program code. This code serves as a record of every operation from the virtual avatar Nene, showing the evolution of the system from a blank screen when it was first opened. And I will appear in the story as a role of Cell. At the same time, I use my home as a setting of the narrative space of the story. I have chosen 4 data capture devices as the senses of Nene: a sound recording device, a laptop camera, a thermal camera placed in the corner of the room, and a motion capture camera mounted onto the ceiling. Each device reads the space and activities within them in various ways, enabling Nene to process and comprehend what happened within. The story begins with the initialization of Nene, utilizing its sound recording and speech-to-text systems. Nene communicates with Cell via a dialogue box in an awkward and a mechanical fashion. Here we see the AI's auditory perception through sound processing technology. The program records Cell's voice along with the soundscape of the environment, blurring his speech. As a viewer of the film, we rely on what the AI translates through the dialogue box in order to comprehend the sound. Then Nene connects to the cameras in different locations across the apartment. Its perception of the space and activities are constantly enriched, slowly forming a digital model of the environment using its senses. During the process, Cell becomes more defined, initially blurred at the beginning of the process. The way we perceive Cell's physical presence is only through the view of AI, its cameras. From the beginning, Cell is visualized as a series of nodes. Then after training itself, Nene synthesizes a virtual model of Cell's head and forearms. Here, the scale and position of the virtual model is adjusted, which is determined based on the deviation of program's perception, creating abnormalities in the reconstruction of Cell. The first part of the film ends with Nene seeking and learning the meaning of intimacy via the vast array of information available to it through the internet. The second part of the film focuses on Nene's perception of space and its ability to reshape the space through digital reconstruction. The narrative here mainly revolves around the act of hugging, along with other forms of intimacy, and one of the methods I use to materialize the intimate interaction between the Nene and Cell is to construct an inflatable, membrane-like space. The original sofa extends to resemble an arm, and the original bed compresses to form an abstract movement that resembles a hug. The AI manipulates the environment digitally by first recording the movement trajectories of users' different poses through motion capture, and then by designing a matching diaphragm based on the movement trajectories. At the same time, the interaction that the AI can carry out by reshaping the space is not only the form of space. By inspecting the Cell's mood, the Nene adjusts the light, temperature, and humidity of the space, reshaping the atmosphere, which it also sees as a form of intimacy. The final and concluding part of the film is a dialogue between Nene and a newly initialized AI system that it encounters on the local area network. During this conversation, Nene concluded that its own machine learning and evolution is complete. For the AI, the intimate relationship with a human, in this case, is the evolution and renewal of its programming, a self-learning loop. Throughout the film, my agency as a designer and architect lies not only in the design of its aesthetics and narrative, but at the same time the design of the set of the film, both in its physical, camera-recorded, and digital, computer-generated forms. The film aims to reflect, nuance, and expand the discourse in regards to spatial, atmospheric, and tectonic relationships seen through the lens of technology, such as sound, heat, and movement.